Okay, here we go. Gulab jamun making 101. I'm almost done making this batch. I got to hurry up before the milk powder gets too hard because you want it when it's as warm as possible. So it makes the balls smooth out better. And I already got about 20 of them there on the plate, so I'm nearing the end of this. But one of the most important things in making these is having whole milk powder. Non-fat milk powder, it just won't work because it ends up with lines and cracks in the gulab jamuns. And when you fry it, then they crack and they open up in the ghee. The other thing is keeping your hands lubricated with butter so it slides around when you make these into balls easier. And you definitely have to knead them even though there's no lines that appear in them, because if you don't knead them, they'll crack. And you don't want cracked gulab jamuns and ghee because then they explode. And then you have a mess all over the place, and that's not good. So hopefully by Krishna's grace, Prabhupada's mercy, I'll be able to make these things properly and they'll come out just the way they're supposed to, by Radharani's mercy. So you see when I'm doing these, they're nice and smooth, and there's no cracks anywhere on the surface. This is what you're looking for. I can't get down to the end of this batch. So anybody's watching this and interested, this is one of the techniques that I know works. I've had a lot of gulab jamuns, and these are basically how they were made in the old days of the Hare Krsna movement, Sunday feast programs. As Prabhupada used to call gulab jamuns, they were the ISKCON bullet. He used to make so many of these for the new devotees. And the devotees would eat them and they relished. Probably got enough for, I'll do one more here. Well, maybe two more. Is it working? Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, this one's getting kind of dry. So you can't mess around when you're making these. You gotta just do it. And I like to do it when there's nobody around. Except for the camera, me and Dario over there pushing the buttons. Because it is definitely meditation. And I find that I can't make them right if I get distracted talking to people. Okay, here's the last one. That'll have enough powder for it. So basically this mixes the Kurma recipe book, where he calls for 2.5 cups of whole milk powder, 3/4 cup of milk, and 6 teaspoons of flour, self-raising flour he calls it. You mix the flour in with the milk powder, and then you add the warm milk. So when I make these, it'll work with just about any kind of milk, but I use raw, unpasteurized, unhomogenized milk because it's the best milk. It's just like milk comes out of the cow's udder. And modern man has not messed with it, so it's basically raw cow's milk. And when I cook it, of course you have to boil the milk 3 times to make sure there's no bacteria in the milk. And that way nobody will get sick. Okay, we're getting almost done here. Gotta go check the ghee, crank this up a little bit. Get the temperature just right. And then I'll move the whole operation over to the oven. And then see how that goes. Okay, we're done with this. Put this stuff in here, let this stuff soak. Keep Radharani's kitchen clean. And by the way, this milk powder is not cheap. My wife just bought some today. It was, I think, $7 a pound. Yeah, a little. This amount right here is $32. It's really gone up in price. But you can skip on cost and skip on quality and try to make it with non-fat, and I wish you well. But I've tried it that way because sometimes I didn't have the whole milk powder. Around here, there's only one place you can get it. It's quite a distance from here, and I have to coordinate it with other things or get somebody else to get it for me. but it's definitely a superior product. It's whole milk powder. It's got all the fat, milk fat in it. So here's the completed batch of Gulab Jamuns, and hopefully by Radharani's mercy these things will come out. So let us move over to the stove.